Celtic studies is a field long connected with the study of mythology. In the Western European context, the Celtic-speaking peoples have been amongst those most often held up as the recipients of a rich body of tradition. From early descriptions of the Gauls through to modern accounts of Scottish Highland culture, we find a reappearing emphasis on oral culture and a concern with the supernatural in daily life. In modern scholarship, Celtic languages developed a strong connection to the discipline of comparative Indo-European philology and, in turn, to theories of comparative mythology that are its byproducts. Aside from these external perspectives, a primary stimulus of interest for mythologists is the very strong sense of the mythic present within Celtic literature itself, reference to gods, to heroes with supernatural qualities, and to events of the distant past. For these reasons, studies of Celtic religion, folklore and literature have very often been made subject to mythological models of interpretation. Subject: the characteristics of Celtic studies and its connection to mythology. Claims are not, as you might think, the opposite of facts, nor does a claim become a fact once we know it is true. A claim is always a claim, but the truth of some claims is established. And a claim does not necessarily involve some personal advantage or bias. Although in everyday speech we often use the word claim to try to distinguish between statements whose truth is suspect or that are biased and those statements, called facts, whose truth is established and that are unbiased, these distinctions are dangerously misleading. All the statements that we think of as facts are, actually, claims. They are so widely and clearly accepted as true that they seem different from claims that are not accepted. Put simply, claims are those statements that express beliefs or views about the way the world is or the way the world should be. Whether they are true or not is, of course, important, but it does not determine whether or not they are claims. Subject: can we separate facts from claims? Don't be afraid to try or to fail. It teaches you strength and how to overcome your personal challenges. Life's trials are not unique to you, they happen to everyone in differing degrees and help develop your mental tolerance and a strong character, giving you the tools to help others to avoid the dangers. When you do not achieve the conclusion that you aimed for in a project or task, you often look on it as a defeat. This thought process can keep you stuck in a position of stalemate and prevent real progress because you give up. Never look at this experience as something bad. Trying and failing is progress in every sense of the word. It can prove to be the vehicle that really launches you forward with renewed energy and a desire to try again. Subject: welcome hardships, kicks of life. During a certain stage of sleep, which can be identified by rapid eye movements and characteristic brain wave patterns, we engage in dreaming. Everybody dreams, but unless we concentrate on remembering what we just dreamed, the images fade almost immediately once we wake up. Dreams are often bizarre because they are formed without outside stimulation and are based instead on our own internal associations, memories, and emotional inputs. Often, we can trace our associations to the symbols and metaphors that occur in dreams. Sometimes we are able to decode what it is that the dream sequence and images were expressing. The existence of lucid dreams has been established in research studies. People who can have lucid dreams are able to influence their own dreams, recognize that they are having a dream, and are able to wake themselves up if they wish. Habits often prove to be quite fragile when changes appear predictably or unpredictably in our lives. How many times have you heard someone complaining or regretting their good hobbies before? Marriage when they had the time? I have heard it dozens of times, and people always try to find excuses for lack of continuity. That's what we do. We find excuses. But if we just spent some time thinking and trying to understand how we function and how habits function, then we might see that habits need training to strengthen them just like a muscle does, and the more they depend on some external factors or your disposition and mood to be maintained, the more vulnerable they are to interruption. Build your habits strong right from the beginning. If you want to start jogging, do it when it is sunny, do it when it is windy or rainy, do it when you feel happy, and do it, by all means, when you feel sad. It is about connecting with a zone of enjoyment per se that goes beyond meeting a bunch of conditions to be carried out.